Hello, my name is Kristin Johnson, and I am a deacon at First Lutheran in Fremont, Nebraska. And I am here to share with you ways in which your congregation can use generosity projects, live it out, ministry resource as a way to help people learn to live generously. Now, the beauty of this ministry tool is that it's all prepared for you. You don't have to spend hours compiling ideas. Live it out provides for you discussion questions, Bible readings, and activities to help bring the theme to a tangible place for all. And so if your congregation is meeting back in person right now for your faith formation, Live It Out can be a wonderful ministry tool used to connect the generations while gathering together. Now, every church has a different way in which they gather together. Some will come together with adult Bible study groups, some in confirmation, Sunday school, or even in small groups. And so some suggestions on how you can use this resource within those various groups could be where you would just gather the people together over a 7-week course, because there are 7 conversation sessions within this ministry resource. And so over the 7 weeks, you would just take one of the topics and you would just break it down, and you would provide the discussion questions, the Bible study readings, and then materials for them to do the activities together. Now, when they come together, they can either remain within their family unit, faith family units, or you could split them up in tables with at least 3 different generations represented at each of those tables as they do these activities. You could also do it over maybe just a 1-day event or an evening event, and where you would take those 7 sessions and break it down to maybe 3 or 4 that you would really want to highlight and do those activities together. And then the remaining conversation sessions you could provide as a take-home resource that they can do within their faith family units outside of the congregation. It could also be a wonderful sermon series resource for congregations where you would take the 7 weeks and you would do a preaching series on each of those topics. And then you could provide a handout resource for people to take home with them as a follow-up following the sermon series. So regardless of how you choose to use this for your in-person faith formation, know that it has wonderful ministry tools to be able to connect the generations and to begin those conversations about living generously.
Hi there, my name is Reverend Breen Sipes here in North Platte, Nebraska. I'm a member of the core team for the 4G network of the Nebraska Synod, and I'm here today to help you to figure out some ways to use the Generosity Project's Live It Out resource as a digital resource in this time. We are aware that there are many places that might not be able or willing to meet in person at this time, and that might continue through the season of Easter. And since we're doing a big push as the Nebraska Synod to use this resource over Easter, I'm here to help you figure out how to use that in the digital realm. First of all, because this is a household resource, one idea is to engage it as households, to make sure you put it in the hands of your households, and then perhaps have a meetup once a week for some show and tell. My favorite part of the resource is the generosity challenges of how many books, how many socks, how many light bulbs, how many wheels do you have in your house? And so you could have it as a time of show and tell where everybody is enthusiastic about what they've learned and are able to show one another and connect with one another in generosity that way. A second way that you could engage this in the digital realm is to form small groups that are cross-generational. So households which make up different generations could be formed into small groups, and they could meet at the time and place of their choosing, whether it's online or distanced and in person, and engage this as multiple households, but a household of faith. One thing I do want to encourage you with is, if you are able to be in person at this time, is to figure out ways to engage those who still can't be with you. So are there generations who are missing? Are there places who are not able to yet be engaged with you in person who could engage with you online? So you could take your in-person gathering, like Kristin mentioned last week, and you could perhaps Zoom in some other generations, some other households who'd be willing and able and interested to celebrate generosity during this season of Easter. The final thing that I'm really excited about is in our week 7, usually the curriculum's week 6, there's a feast to celebrate. And I think it would be really neat if a congregation wanted to do this all together, to have a cookbook of generosity come out of this Easter time. That everyone would share a precious recipe and be generous in sharing, and to compile that into a cookbook that everyone could enjoy together, not only during this season of Easter, but then into the future as well. I hope that these ideas have sparked some ideas within you. You, of course, are welcome to tweak and change it to fit your context, and I look forward to seeing you in the digital realm this Easter. Hi there. My name is Reverend Breen Sipes here in North Platte, Nebraska. I am a member of the Nebraska Synod's 4G core team, and I'm here today to help you discover how to live it out if you're going to use the Live It Out curriculum as a household. We are once again, during the season of Easter, as a synod, engaging in the Generosity Project, which comes from the ELCA's Live It Out curriculum, which is a free 7-week curriculum that we can use in our households to discover God's generosity together. So if you're planning on engaging in this as a household, first of all, you're going to do a little bit of homework. Download the resource and look it through and decide as a household, how are you going to use this curriculum? Which pieces are you going to use each week? If you're a household of adults, or if you're going to be gathering online with a household of faith, perhaps you are going to be able to do the entire thing with the Bible study, the conversations, all of the pieces. Maybe if you have younger children in your household, you're not going to be able to do it all at once. It's going to be too much for you to grab onto. So you might split it up, or you might decide to just do the generosity challenge or just the Bible story as your nighttime ritual. The second thing that I would encourage if you're going to do this as a household is to choose a consistent day and time to engage this. In our household, it's Saturday mornings. That has worked out since our kids were really little. And so we just take about a half an hour on a Saturday morning and dive into the Word and do a craft and sing a song and do these things together. And so during the season of Easter, my household is going to engage this curriculum as a household on Saturday mornings. Now understand that if you do it on a consistent basis, it'll help you to build a habit. But also understand that there is grace within that. If you get there, you get to that day and time and everybody's too tired and cranky, start over on another day. Try again. Be consistent, but also understand that there's plenty of grace. A third idea for engaging this as a household is to gather your community of saints together. Are there grandparents who could be a part of your household? Do you have grandkids that you'd like to invite into doing this together? Is there someone who you know who you consider to be generous, that you would just like to hear more about how they came to become so generous? This curriculum is really going to lend itself to those kind of conversations. In our household, our plan is to ask our grandparents, our aunts and uncles, our sponsors for baptism, to each take a week and to be with us for our time over Zoom. We live far away from our family and friends, and so we're going to use that technology to be able to gather our household of faith together. One reason to do this, first of all, is it's better for us to have conversations if we can engage more generations. The other reason is maybe week 5, 6, 7, our own energy will flag, and we need somebody else to help to keep us accountable. So getting those outside partners is a really important part for success in the long-term building of a habit of devotional practice. The last thing is an invitation. If you do engage this as a household, please let us on the 4G core team know. You can like and follow us on our Facebook page, post pictures of what it is that you are doing. You can also do that with your social media networks and your family and friends, and also your own congregation who you relate to. Get that excitement up, especially with those generosity challenges. How many books do you have? How many socks do you have? How many wheels do you have? I imagine it's going to be an amazing experience for all of us together in the Nebraska Synod as we gather as households of faith, and we celebrate the season of Easter by living it out through the Generosity Project.